my color this time around.
Hello guys and welcome back to the High School Star League. We're going to get into our second set of matches for the night. It's 0-0 at the moment, so we are joining in the first match, and it's between Rosetta High School and Mira Mesa High School Team G. I think I'm correct in saying it's Team G, isn't it, CrusaderKitten?
Huh? Oh
it's
yeah,
Team G,
Mira
isn't
Mesa
it?
High School G, yep.
Excellent. Here we are into picks and bans. We've got 3 bans coming out already from the Rosetta team. So we've got Zed, Lee Sin and Ari coming out as bans. Quite strong picks there. Zed seen really commonly in the ban phase, and Corky's actually got all the way through that. What do you think about that?
Corky has just been such a popular pick. I've just seen some buffs, a little bit buffs, but mainly the new Trinity Force coming in here.
Yeah.
Really just such a good item now on Corky. And obviously we saw it coming up in Worlds where he was so strong, and we've seen it before in smaller events and things like that where there's more amateur teams. They actually picked up on the Corky picks fast enough. However, it didn't give him too much speed because obviously not everybody sees the Corky picks coming out for the smaller amateur circuits. But once they saw it in Worlds, they realized that Corky is just super strong, and now they want to pick him up here. And a Skarner is locked in actually. He's also one of those champions that really benefit from the new Trinity Force.
Yeah, Skarner is actually really strong, especially with that Impale ultimate, being able to drag someone around the map, and with the extra movement speed you get from the Phage when using that now. If you auto-attack just a couple of seconds beforehand, you get that extra 20 movement speed. I mean, it doesn't sound like a huge amount, but extra 20 movement speed does actually allow you to get a little bit further back into your team and allow you to get the impaled champion a bit further back as well, especially when you're looking at someone like a Sono or Graves, who are quite squishy if they get into the middle of their team. So it'll be interesting to see how they decide to use that. Vi being picked up, and there's a lot of talk about Vi's new sister, something to do with an X. We're not quite sure. I think it might be Jinx is going to be her name, but we're not 100% sure as to that yet.
Sponsored by the clothing store, right?
Yeah, obviously. Well, we don't actually have Jinxes in England. I don't know what.
No, it's like the online thing. It's like an online store that has like a bunch of games, like a bunch of gaming apparel. You don't know this?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. You're welcome, Jinx. Sponsor us, please. Anyways. However, Vi, we don't really want to talk about Vi's sister. We actually want to talk about Vi here. Yeah. As well as Shen being the pickup here. So Vi, of course, strong jungler, really nice mobility coming out from her. Of course, her ultimate is great to dive into that back line. Also gonna have Shen built in there too. So there's a lot of long range engage, and Shen can back up Vi. It's kind of like a Shen Nocturne or a Shen Zac kind of combo. I'm
really surprised actually in these team comps. A couple of unconventional picks. Vi not exceptionally commonly seen. You do see him some of the time. Skarner not really that commonly seen either. And Vlad, yes, was kind of popular at the end of Season 2. Divers plays a lot of Vladimir as well, but not as popular as some of the other more conventional top laners like Renekton or Shen or someone like that. I mean, Shen has been picked up. What I'm confused about is the fact that Zac has got all the way through this set of picks and bans and hasn't even been picked, and Zac is just, in my opinion, probably still one of the most overpowered champions in the game. Maybe both the teams have just decided it doesn't quite fit their team comp, but if you look at the purple team, if you look at Mira Mesa, Zac in that team comp would have been so strong. Crescendo coming out from Sono, collateral damage coming out from Graves, Zac instead of the Vi probably, using that elastic slingshot and the Let's Bounce along all of their team, a nice shadow dash across from Shen, and the explosive cast coming out from Gragas with Zac. That would have been incredible. It would have just been such a good pick. I'm not saying Vi is a bad pick, I'm just saying Zac works so well in that team comp. What do you think about the team comp coming over from the other side, from the is it Rosetta? Rosetta. I'm gonna be using my American accent the entire time. The Rosetta team.
Yep. Yeah, Rosetta team coming, and it's very interesting. This Garner pick, of course, something that's definitely very new here. Also gonna be seeing Orianna as well as Vladimir, so a lot. Oh, also you can talk about Zyra and I guess Corky, because a lot of magic damage is really coming out. Yeah. Corky, a lot more of a magic damage as 80 carry. He does have some true damage mixed in there, some physical damage, but there's actually a lot of magic damage coming off from him. And Vladimir Orianna, of course, as well is very interesting. Oriana, a very strong team fighting champion. She's gonna do pretty well. I think they all synergize. Zyra, Vladimir, Oriana. They synergize pretty well. I think with with all their ultimates combining. So I do like their team comp.
Yeah.
However, definitely some interesting picks come into here. It's obviously going to really depend on the laning phase, of course. Gragas is really bursty APQ that can really carry out games. You have to be really scared of that, as well as very Vi in that jungle, as well as Shen and this global pressure that can come out.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how that Vi does in the jungle. If you can get your Vault Breaker, hit a couple of people, get the denting blows on, and the excessive force as well, it does really help you out to get that early game damage down. You get a red buff proc on, people really aren't escaping. So Skarner kind of has a little bit of CC, has that slow early game, but doesn't quite have the crowd control that you'd want out of a jungler until level 6 when he gets that Impale and is able just to pull people back into the team. I'm looking forward to this game because I think they're two less conventional team compositions. Both of them have really good AoE magic damage late game, and I am really looking forward to it. I just think that because of the unconventional nature of both teams, we're going to see a couple of mistakes being made. I think just because you're not quite sure how to play against a Skarner, you're not quite sure how to play against a Vi, for example, you're not going to be able to predict ganks and predict the way that the other person is going to be able to play to the same level that you'd be able to if they'd be more traditional picks.
Yeah. Skarner, I'm going to be interested to see how his jungle path goes. Because a few things Skarner is good at is level 6 ganks and then dueling in the jungle. He's really strong in dueling in the jungle. People don't realize this because every time he auto attacks, he's going to get cooldown lowered on his abilities. And main abilities for that one would be his W and his Q, which give him a shield as well as do some extra damage. Yeah. So he's really strong dueling early in the jungle. So I wouldn't be surprised to see like an invade coming off here. And I also wouldn't be too surprised to see if he goes for like a counter jungle invade kind of thing, or if he goes for just farming up the jungle until level 6. He's actually also pretty good early game because he can get these slows off, especially with red buff. He's able to really reapply those. So we'll have to see how it goes. Nice desktop background, by the way.
Thanks. We're still having a couple of issues. Oh, there we are. Actually, it's working perfectly for us.
Yep, ran to the game, or loading screen, I should say.
Yeah. Level 1 action. Not sure if it's going to happen. I don't think either team really has the best level 1. If you get Shadow Dash into Vault Breaker coming out from Divine, the Shen here, Mr. Fast and Dragonaut on the purple side or the red side, but the other side I don't really see a huge amount of level 1. Vladimir can take Tides of Blood. It does give you a bit of vision if you manage to put it in the it gives you vision because you see the extra health coming back, but the Grasping Roots can come out of Altair Ezio as well. I don't think any level 1 action is going to go down, but you never know, it might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully get on into this game soon. As of course these interesting team comps coming off here. Rosetta High School versus Mira Mesa HS G. And I think this is Division 5, so these guys are in a different group from the last match we just watched. Of course, how the scoring works, it's 2 games being played in this match. If a team goes 2-0, then they win 3 points. If the match goes 1-1, then both teams win 1 point. And of course, if a team wins 0 games, they get 0 points. So this can be a second match that we're showing today. Next match we will see is in about 2 hours from here, so pretty much after this match. However fast this goes, I guess it's gonna be La Jolla Country Day. That might be La Jolla, because that's like Spanish Mexican. La Jolla Country Day. This is Caramont High School, so I think I'll ask them how to say the name. Anyways, you're into this game. It's going to focus on this, as we're gonna be seeing these early item buys coming off, and it's looking pretty standard.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be pretty much normal. I'm just going to move the Mira Mesa team's name a bit more central here, with just sticking off the top of the screen a little bit. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be fairly standard. We do actually have a pause coming out pretty early in this game, so I like it. I kind of like it when we get these early pauses because it gives me the chance just to rearrange the summoner icons and the overlays. So makes me a little bit happy, but I can understand how it would make the players slightly unhappy, just because you don't usually get these pawns coming out early. One thing that's going to be interesting is what Skarner decides to take early game. You've got that Energize, which is just his passive, which gives him, I can show it on the screen actually, basic attacks lower all ability cooldowns a little bit. His Q is his Crystal Slash, and that gets you to deal a bit of physical damage to enemies within range. It's quite nice that it does a little bit of a physical damage, helps with your clear time. The Crystalline Exoskeleton, which is W, which you were talking about, gives him that shield and allows him to absorb a bit of damage, and sometimes you see junglers maxing that just because it helps them get through their jungle, keeps them sustained up as well. Fracture is his E. The active deals magic damage to enemies in a line and marks them, and if you do a little bit more damage you heal yourself, so that's quite nice and does help with that sustain as well. I'm not sure what he's going to go for early game. I think I haven't seen enough Skarner jungles to say something.
I know what would happen. So, because I've used to play Skarner a lot. QW is usually what Skarners go for.
Okay.
Some Skarners don't even go for Fracture. This is like Season 2, but some Skarners, they didn't go for Fracture until they actually needed it. WQ is really good early trade power, because the Synergize is really well into the rest of his abilities. When he gets the W off, he gets the movement speed increase as well as attack speed increase. And that helps him, of course, with his passive, taking down cooldowns. Yeah. And also Crystal Slash, which is if he hits somebody with it and then he auto-attacks somebody, then they'll be slowed down. So it's really good for early gank potential. And Fracture would be if he needs the sustain. You know, sometimes they'll take it early if they feel like they need more sustain in the jungle. However, more often than not, I think they just go WQ, WQ.
WQ.
That's how you play Skarner. Right click on a champion and you go QW. That's early game Skarner right there.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
What do you think about this bottom lane? We talked a little bit about how strong Corki is, especially since the Triforce changes, getting that extra movement speed coming out of Phage, and I think it's slightly cheaper as well now.
Yeah.
Corki versus Graves, both of them have really good early bursts. You've got the Phosphorus Bomb coming out from Corki, you've got Graves with that buckshot, using the quick draw to jump around fights as well. Who do you think is gonna win that one out, Kitten?
It's gonna be a really interesting matchup, I think, because Zyra is a really nice support for Corki because she's able to help line up his abilities, and you trap two champions in the snare, and then you can get that Gatling gun going for quite a bit of damage, or the Phosphorus Bomb going for some burst. However, the Graves Sona is just a really strong pokey bot lane. They have lots of burst damage. You know, the amplifiers that come off from Sona with like her hymns and her arias and her songs are really helpful, especially, you know, when you use like the Q, and it'll help. It'll increase the damage coming off from Graves, or it'll increase you know the defense for him. So I think Graves and Sona will win it out early, but when it comes to late game, I feel like Corki will be a little bit of a stronger pick, just because he has, you know, a lot more poke ability as well as a lot more mobility. I think, you know, the Valkyrie, I think, is a little bit a tad more mobile. Of course, he can go over a lot more walls and travel a bit more distance. And with the team that he has, he should have enough peel coming off from Zyra or from Skarner to keep him alive.
Well, we are back into game now.
But when we look at Mira Mesa, you know, Vi wants to dive in. You know, maybe Gragas wants to dive in as well. Shen and Sona have to be the hero here. And this is not good, as I think.
Here comes
actually, just a good kid.
Kenty boy.
He's gonna get spotted out here. There's not too much CC that can come out just yet. Dragonaut has picked up this town here, but they cannot catch up to that Vladimir. So a little bit of an awkward early level invade, I guess, there. But looks like they might just be backing off and going ahead.
Safe.
Yeah, I mean, thing is, what happened there was Jessica was a little bit lagging behind his team, so they didn't really. He was caught out a little bit earlier. I'm actually surprised that because they went into the red buff, they didn't even go for a deep ward, because that's usually what teams like to do, is that they put the ward into that red buff. So they're aware when that happens, but didn't see that happening.
Yeah, I think I was interested to see Kenty Boy leading it. Kenty Boy there playing the Sona. I would have much preferred to see Dragonaut or Mr. Fast leading, just because they have CC. I don't see the point in putting the Sona into the bush and being like, well, maybe she'll do a bit of damage with her power cord. Yay! Doesn't really give you anything if she's there by herself. Maybe she was going into ward and they spotted her and just decided, oh, well, we'll leave her there for now. But I would have preferred to have seen someone with a bit of crowd control early, checking that bush and catching out just to get kicked. Because even if you just burn a flash, it's a flash. That's 5-minute cooldown. You can go up and gank that lane. And Mr. Fast has started his red buff. We saw Fallout Reach starting red as well, and you talked a little bit about that. You talked about the cooldown reduction you can get from the blue buff, but he's going for red buff then Wraiths, which is a path we've seen a couple of times.
Yeah, he actually did go for the Fracture first as well, so he's going for a little bit more sustain. And I think that means he'll probably want to go.
Here comes Vi into the top lane.
Yep, into the top lane. Big quick hit coming in there, flashing after. There is Mr. Fast with the first blood. I mean, it's pretty easy to gank an early game Vladimir. He doesn't even have Sanguine pull up yet, so can't really do anything about that. But just a nice early gank coming in there. Shadow Dash already picked up by Dragonaut there for the early invade. Of course, Mr. Fast had that ball breaker, able to get in there, do some damage.
Yeah, I think.
And pick up that kill.
One interesting thing about that kill was Mr. Fast got the red buff proc, had got the damage down, and then Dragonaut and him both flashed in for it. They both went for that flash. I don't think the flash from Mr. Fast was actually needed, because Dragonaut still had Ignite up as well, and still has it up at the moment. So I think if Dragonaut had just decided, okay, well, red buff's proccing, am I going to catch up? No, Ignite, they still would have managed to get the kill.
Yeah, it's obvious something that could have come out from that. However, you know, at least they got the kill. They did lose a few summoners, but still going to be ahead in that top lane, which is going to be putting Vladimir at a bit of a disadvantage as we get into another pause. And unfortunately, hopefully, we'll get this resolved. But game pause is coming in. There looks like some lag just coming off for some of these players. So
you don't know lag until you've played on EU West, guys. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh man, so it looks like actually unpaused right now, so we're gonna be okay.
Yeah, straight back into the game.
Fallout of Reach is actually going for a gank right now.
Oh, this is not good for Jugen in the middle lane.
Yeah, he already went ahead very early. There's a flash coming out there, forces that one out. We'll be able to get out, and now the next game should be fairly easy for Fallout of Reach if we decide to go for a next gank.
Alcazar Ezzo is getting taken so low.
Altier, Ezio taking some damage, he's exhausted. Barry comes off from outstanding. Henty Boy 2 did get pretty low from that. Very strange exchange. And Bomb actually Valkyrie coming in from 10 picks up the kill. There is a barrier coming off to soak up the damage. The snare does enter outstanding. He's taking some damage from these plans, but he's going to be able to get out of there. And obviously, Tentang and Altair Ezio just want to go completely against what I said about Grave Soda being a little bit better in the lane, and they just picked up a kill down there as well as forcing this Grave to not back but to get pretty low.
Yeah, I think the problem for Outstanding and Kenty Boy was that Outstanding kind of used his barrier when no damage was going down on him, and so it meant that Tang Tang could get in there knowing that he still had barrier up, could be a bit more aggressive. Valkyrie in for Kenty Boy, managed to get her down with him down with the phosphorus bomb, and then because he knew he still had barrier up, he was able to stand and fight Outstanding a little bit as well. Them getting that kill is really going to help out the Cookie. He's gone double Doran's longsword, and I assume he'll be going for the Phage as the first item. Most common first item we see if you're building into that Triforce these days.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not going Trinity Force, then he's obviously doing the new Corki wrong, because that is pretty much the rush you have to go on Corki. Otherwise, this is not good, because the Trinity Force synergizes so well, just all of Corki.
Yeah. Just so strong.
Yeah, I mean, it just has to be rushed. I'll be interested to see what he goes for shoes or for boots, because you don't really go Berserker Greaves, although some people will choose to do it. Usually the norm is Sorcerer Shoes, or to go for Ionian Boots of Lucidity. No, either Magic Penetration or Cooldown Reduction, whichever they prefer.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really need to go Berserker's Greaves anymore on any AD carries. I see a lot of AD carries doing it, and yes, I understand why you do it, but you can go for something like Ninja Tabe or for Ionian Boots of Lucidity and get just as much benefit out of it as you do from Berserker's Greaves. And because attack speed is such a cheap item, such a cheap statistic in the game compared to things like attack damage or armor or magic resist, sometimes it's more beneficial for you to go for boots that are Ninja Tabe or something like that, and then build into your attack speed item. You don't need to max out your attack speed on most AD carries these days, especially ones who are AD casters like Corki or Ezreal.
Yeah, even Graves to some extent, because he does have that quick draw to give him some extra attack speed. And he can just go for hard-hitting abilities, because of course Buckshot, very nice scaling as well as collateral damage. And he's a really bursty AD carry as well.
Here comes Vi into the top lane.
Yeah, starting green pool from Just a Good Kid there, so doesn't really want to go down again. He is losing in CS, of course. You know, obviously feeling some pressure. Juggernaut hasn't even backed, I don't think. He's sitting on 1,600 gold to spend, so gonna be able to buy some nice items. And actually,
lots of damage coming down bot lane
once again. Yeah, just look at that Gatling gun, really able to take down Kenty Boy as well as outstanding pretty low.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Just a Good Kid here on this Vladimir is that Vladimir really needs to get to about level 9 before he has as much damage as he'd like to. You need that transfusion up to level 5, you need a couple of levels in Tides of Blood. Yes, you have to take one level in the Sanguine Pool just to keep yourself safe, but you need to be able to keep yourself in the lane until about level 9, and by that point you should be able to trade and sustain yourself up. I'll be interested to see if he decides to go for an early Spirit Visage. Now that builds out a Spectre's Cowl, oh nice Shadow Dash actually landing there, just going to be a bit of a trade. Now that it builds out that Spectre's Cowl, because that's such a cost-effective item, I'd really like to see him get that probably first or second item, and then go into sort of the ability power, more damagey Vladimir build that you can do.
Yeah, he might. Yeah, definitely. He might want to go for a little bit more defense build because he hasn't had too much of a good time up in this top lane. I would expect the same thing actually for Dragonaut to go.
Explosive cast coming out of mid lane.
Yeah, but Knight is dropped down onto Noggenwacker here, and the barrel does pick up that kill. Jingen is that one, and this is kind of the power.
Here comes Vi into the bot lane. There's the assaulting battery.
The exhaust onto Tank here. Here comes the standing knife flashing over to get him close. The taunt does go down onto Altair Ezio. Tank trying to pick up the kill. Kenty Boy so low. However, he will escape, and there's gonna be a kill going in there for outstanding. 4 people getting down to that bottom lane to make that gank happen. And actually, Mr. Fast not gonna be going on to that side, but did get pretty close.
Yeah,
actually, Jane went up to his top lane. The Hemo Plague dropped on Tim McKnight as well. Gonna be drinking some of that drink there, but he'll be okay after that one. Fellow Reach, he hasn't had too much presence after that first gank. And he does have his ultimate up, so he really needs to go somewhere soon, but because all lanes right now aren't too gankable.
We talked about it, and we said Fallout Reach really won't have that much presence until he hits level 6.
Yeah.
He has just pinged that. Well, sorry, he's almost level 7 now actually, going for this blue buff around, and I assume he'll give that across towards Noggenwacker, although Skarner is a very blue buff dependent jungler. He really needs the... Oh, it's taking it away, and Noggenwacker was actually coming across for it looked like, so maybe he's just had to be like, oh, I'm really sorry, I need this one just to keep myself sustained up.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably what I would do. Blue buff is really important on Skarner, just to spam out abilities.
Yeah.
But he has to make use of that. He can't just let it go to waste. Of course, Orianna has with that Chalice of Harmony, so we'll be getting some mana regen here. Skarner actually went for a Giant Spell, which is pretty interesting. Going for a little bit more tank.
There's an engagement in the bot lane. Crescendo has come out.
Yep, lands on the tank here. The Cloud Dance is flashing you, but flashes right into a rocket, I think that was. Now Kenty Boy is in trouble. Altair Ezio picks up that kill.
Yeah, we talked about Corki getting ahead early. He's got that phage now, just so much damage coming out from him, and they're really not able to trade, especially that flash. It's one of those flashes, we saw Genja do it in the EU qualifiers. Actually, explosive cast coming out, Noggenwacker's had to flash away from this one.
Shockwave doesn't hit onto Jingen at all, and actually flashed over the wall by Fallout Peach, flashed in response by Jingen there.
Yeah. We saw a similar flash to that one in the bot lane, to Outstanding's flash, and it looked to me as if he was trying to flash over a missile and get close enough in range for his buckshot and get the damage down onto Tang, but the missile came out a little bit later than he thought it would, and thus wasn't able to flash away from that in the way that he would have liked. We saw Genja flashing over the, I think it was an enchanted crystal hour actually that he managed to dodge in one of the Europe finals. So I mean, Just a Good Kid has now got to that magic number. He's level 9, and you look at him, he's catching back up in CS, about 11 CS behind. Built that Hextech Revolver, looking to build it perhaps into a Will of the Ancients, well, probably into a Will of the Ancients in all honesty. Interestingly, Hextech Revolver is one of the main items that gives Spellvamp in the game, and the only item that gives Spellvamp that doesn't build out of Hextech Revolver is the Ginsu's Rage Blade, I believe. So that's a little interesting statistic, a little interesting bit of information for you all today.
Yeah, so Lymer's going to be building that Ginsu's Rage Blade because he wants the most Spellvamp he can get, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, that's obviously. Come on now. Anyways.
Obviously.
So, this ball lane definitely in the lead as we're seeing it. Jeez, the trades coming off. Kenty Boy solo. There's a Valkyrie from Tank 10. Forces the barrier, but the missile picks up Kenty Boy. Very, very well aimed right there.
Those missiles, way too strong.
And now it's standing. Has to back up just a bit. Nice work coming in there from Altair Ezio just to see that Mr. Fast was actually coming into that. Couldn't go in.
Yeah. One build that we actually used to see on Vladimir was the Spirit of the Spectral Wraith build, and I'm interested to see perhaps if they decide to build this in the top lane. It does give you that ability power, mana regeneration, and cooldown reduction with that Spellvamp as well. Not exceptionally commonly seen on Vladimir. It was built in a stage where Vladimir was used predominantly as a split pusher, and because you get that extra damage to minions, it really helped you push up that lane really quickly. So I don't expect to see it, but you never know, it might come out. We see the Spectre's Cow coming out from Dragonaut, just going a bit tanky, probably going to build that into a Spirit Visage as well, maybe just leaving it there. It does give a nice bit of magic resist, as well as that health coming out of the Kindle gem of which it builds. So what do you think about this mid game? We see Skarner's really, Fallout Reach has really just gone for...
Jingen coming into bottom explosive class, doesn't have to anything. He can stand the Stranglethorn is coming up, is locking him up. Crescendo does come off, staying at it as well down to Jingen there. Very, very close to going down there. Jingen almost going down, but a great Crescendo from Kenty Boy stops damage output from Tanking and Altair Ezio.
But like...
just really scary there. Missing that explosive cast is just so crucial.
Yeah, they burnt 3 massive ultimates for an engage that they should have won. It was a 4v2 in the end of the day. Dragonaut came in with a Stand United, Explosive Cast came out from Jingen, and the Crescendo came out from Kenty Boy, and they just weren't able to do anything in a 4v2, and because of that, Just a Good Kid's managed to take that top turret. He's going to go across and farm the golems as well. Just puts them a lot further in the advantage. I mean, Tang's ultimate with that missile barrage is not as crucial as an ultimate like a Crescendo, and Stranglethorns did get used up as well, but I think they're really in that advantage in the bot lane now. They've 3 kills up, 3 kills to 1, and 20 CS up as well. Should be able to rotate around towards this dragon, which they have pink warded, and get that down. Just a Good Kid has managed to farm up, be only around 7 CS behind in this top lane as well, and that's going to allow him to build up into this Will of the Ancients probably. Jingen is going to try and come up. Explosive Cast is actually going to be up anytime soon. I could see a gank happening here, but Just a Good Kid does have his Sanguine Pool, so maybe he's going to escape from this.
Yeah, since his Spidey senses he is going back here. There's a Sanguine Pool a little bit early as Explosive Cast right after in response to Just a Good Kid. Those on hero play, but he will be going down, so yeah, early Sanguine Pool there. Dodging out from the barrel, but not from the Explosive Cast.
Yeah, it was just a bit mistimed. I think he didn't expect Explosive Cast to be up as quickly as it was. It's on such a short cooldown at the moment. It's only got 47 seconds left at the moment, so it's about 60 odd second cooldown, and that's really, really quick, and without a blue buff as well. So when Jingen starts getting those blue buffs put across towards him, going to reduce that by another 10%. So really, really short cooldown for that one, and he is 3-0-0, has that Enthene's Unholy Grail, probably going to go and get his Sorcerer's Shoes pretty soon. Let's have a look down at these golds. We see Vladimir's got 4,000 gold, so he's one of the richest people in the game as opposed to Jingen, who has that 5,000, so he's about 1,000 gold ahead of most of the other team, although Corki has got 5,250. He's the
in the
richest
mid lane.
person in the
Shadow
game.
comes off here. There is the assault on battery from Vi. Naganwhacker taking damage. Nice shockwave flash away from Naganwhacker. Might be able to get out of here. And now they might want to do this round. Just a Good Kid is here. Here's the Stranglethorns coming off. Both AD carries have entered in as well. Dragon Knight is taking losses in the front line. Jingan is so low, has to be forced to get out of there. Tank Tank able to pick up a kill now. Outstanding, gonna be going down. Double kill for Tank Tank here. And now they're chasing after Mr. Fast. Follow Reach picks up that kill with the auto attack. 4 kills for none in favor of Rosetta High School.
Yeah.
And now they'll be able to pick up this mid tower.
They really did well there. They managed to tank out the early damage, and the fact that Noggin Whacker was able to flash away and survive that really helped out his team, because he was able to use that command dissonance to let them catch up with the opposing team at the same as the fight progressed. One of the major things there was that Dregonaut had already used his Stand United, and so wasn't able to get into the back line of that fight and protect his squishier members. Like Jingen's still pretty squishy, Graves there, outstanding, being quite squishy as well. They just weren't able to get in there and protect them well enough for the fight. So really well played there by the Rosetta team against this Mira Mesa team at the moment. So be interested to see how they sort of prolong this into the late game. And we do see the spirit of the Spectral Wraith coming out from Vladimir.
That's actually, I'm pretty sure that's standard there. It's a little bit of a stronger item, I think. A little bit nicer, no. However, actually, whoa. Jingan throwing off explosive cast to stop the back. Trinity Force has been picked up by 10-10. They actually picked it up 15 minutes into this game, so really just reached that spike in power super early. And he's going to be scary with it. And with that, it'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. The 4 kills that they picked up there for the 0 in exchange to put them about 4,000 gold in the lead. They should be able to snowball this out into a bigger advantage. The only problem for them was that the kills have all gone onto that AD carry, and I know that doesn't sound like a bad thing, but it would be nicer if they managed to spread them out a little bit, get a couple on Oriana, get a couple on Vladimir. Vlad did really nicely, was able to stay in the fight and get some damage down, but 0-2-3, still 20 CS behind, isn't quite in the same position that you'd like him to be at this point in the game. And Jingen's going to get caught out in the middle lane at the moment. Using explosive
coming in the shockwave as well. There is the ultimate from Skarner. Shut down there. Follow Reach picks up that kill.
Yeah, just got a little bit caught out. Got caught between a rock and a hard place, or a scorpion and a ball woman, I guess. So it's a scorpion and a robot. It's just not the best place to be. And the fact that he used the explosive cast to knock Noggin Whacker into him really didn't allow him to get away in the way he would have wanted to. Noggin Whacker just positioning herself well, managing to get close enough to Jengin so that the explosive cast didn't knock her away.
Yep, so looks like up in this top is a trade coming in from Dragon and Jessica Kim. Meanwhile, bottom lane tower does fall 3 towers to 0 now. In favor of Rosetta High School, 6,000 gold ahead. They're looking really strong, and then with their team, they should really just be able to snowball this. They have, the good front line in the form of Skarner. He's able to, get some peel off as well. They have good AoE that can come off from Zyra Oriana.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Jingen's gonna get caught out here in the mid lane.
Jingen, what are you doing? Explosive cast. Explosive cast. Trying to go aggressive there. Did not realize that Tang Tang was right around the corner. So they were able to pick up the kill onto him. It looks like this tower will be going down now.
Yeah, and getting that second tier turret in the mid lane gives them so much more map pressure. Just allows them to have a really good idea of where everyone is, and gets them the pressure in the jungle for the Mira Mesa team that really helps Rosetta just do what they want. And there's going to be a fight here in the top lane.
Yep, they're going onto this tower for Dragonaut. They should just be able to pick this one up pretty easily. There's the Impale, a little bit late, however. Still able to bring that kill. Maybe, it did just come off of cooldown, so he might have not needed it. But now he's going to be running away. And it looks like Fly Reach and Jessica Kid will be able to pick up that kill and get out as well. And
they're going to be able to push down
so
this
Jungle
bot.
Skarner, they bring him back. They don't even need Trinity Force with him at all. They're actually going for a more tanky Skarner build. Randuin's Omen coming up for him.
Which they need to do, considering Vlad has gone for that split of the Spectral Wraith and is now going for a needlessly large rod and that amplifying tome. What do you think he might build into that? Because Zonya's is a possibility, but I'm expecting more of a Rabadon's coming out.
For Oriana?
For Vladimir.
Oh, for Vladimir? I would actually say Zanya's, because
Yeah.
it gives a lot more vulnerability on him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot more because he'll just like Sanguine pull into a team and throw it on a human plague, and then he can Zanya's right
Yeah.
afterwards.
That makes
He
sense.
doesn't need super huge burst, because that can come in the form of Quirky and Oriana. I think Zanya's Hourglass is a lot more of a sustainy-ish, at least like for some more
Yeah.
armor, super tankiness. So I think it's gonna be that Zanya's Hourglass, because he doesn't really need the burst damage, because Vladimir isn't a burst damage AP carry at all, really. You know what I mean? He has that human plague, he has some extra damage, but he's not like a huge burst like Oriana could be.
Yeah. It's more of a damage over time type of idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we see dragons about to spawn in around a minute, and the Rosetta team really do have the advantage here. Noggin Whack is going to get caught out here.
Yeah, that's just bad news. Barris, oh, that was a great shockwave, however, still will be going down. Falrich is exhausted, trying to help him out. So not going back. Going down, you know, he did the best he could try to get the disengage out. However, you know, 3 people on top of him, a little bit too much, I think.
He did manage to get the flash out of Jingen, which was really pretty, actually. Like the way he played that, he body slammed and then flashed right at the end, got the extra damage down, and managed to get the kill. But
it's like the Shen taunts you can do there.
Yeah, the new ones that everyone's doing.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not even new. That's just been something that people didn't know
What
about.
used to happen a lot of the time was people would flash and then taunt immediately, but what's happening a bit more now, which is a bit newer, is that people are starting their taunt and then flashing when it's about halfway done and catching people right off with the end of it. So here comes the Stranglethorn.
It's gonna land onto Dragonaut. Everyone else had these gap clears to get out of Dragonaut. Now it gets out. However, very scary flash Stranglethorn's coming in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I do remember actually, like season 1, I saw that like a tip about you can flash in the middle of a Shen taunt. So I think it was just unknown. I'm pretty sure, because it's pretty tricky to master, and then maybe it's just, you know, the Chinese LPL. I think it was used a lot there.
Yeah.
Whenever Shen was played, the people would just be really good at those taunts.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just something that it's just because of that. It's kind of like Corki, where you see it, and you see in like smaller leagues or just, you know, casual play, but people don't realize that it's really strong until like the pros play on the main stage, and people can see that it's just ridiculously strong and things like that. So Dragon Temp coming in from Rosetta High School, I would see them picking this one up, I think. Yep, they do. They pick it up, and there's Shockwave actually onto the back line. There's Human coming off as well. Ball Reach going right on top of Outstanding with the Impale, though. That in the back line, Tentang is taking down people. It's doing so much damage. Double kill so far. Coming again. There is the Solid Battery coming out. Tentang picking up some kills as well. Triple kill for Jessica at the end of that fight, and that was just a massacre. 1 for 5 in favor of Mira Mesa.
Yeah, really
just good. And actually, there's a surrender vote coming in here.
I can't blame them really. Corki 617, Vladimir 425. Like Rosetta just played it very well, and we talked about Vladimir needing to get to sort of that mid-late game build before he was able to do anything, and he took his time, yes, but when he got there, he was able to really influence team fights, picking up that triple kill in the final fight there. Really nicely done by the Rosetta team.
Yeah, so we will go into a very quick break, and we'll get into the second game of this match. Of course, it's two games per match, and if Mira Mesa is able to pick up the win, both teams will get 1 point. If Rosetta High School picks up the win, they will get 3 points for themselves. So point system coming off, or second points for the group stages of this High School Star League tournament. You want to find out more about the format and everything, you can check out our website, lol.hsl.com, which actually might be down right now. Yeah, it's actually down right now. So hopefully it'll be coming back soon. Sorry about that, guys. But you can also check out our Facebook, facebook.com/hsstarleague, twitter.com/hsstarleague as well. So everybody, we'll be right back. Going to a quick commercial break. Stay tuned for the next game of Mira Mesa High School G and Rosetta High School.